Neither Louis nor Jerry knew how the bottle opener worked. The thought came to them both as Louis studied the wine Jerry bought earlier. Been a nice housewarming gift, a good way to celebrate Jerry's new apartment. They no longer had to go to Louis' shitty studio apartment when they wanted a night alone. Jerry was now living his best life, a working actor in Chicago making his living on Dick Wolf shows and whatever else happened to be shooting in town. Louis, a freelance writer, was a workaholic in his own right. He worked to make ends meet, even if that meant little to no sleep. But despite everything they were and everything they'd accomplished, it was a bottle of wine that stumped them. Everything all the sitcoms they'd ever watched told them.
All right, I wanna start off by saying thank you for making my song apparently a gay icon.
I missed that part. I just heard Dick Wolf and then fuck you.
So if you noticed in the song Apartment Living, or the part Apartment Living, he uses my song Alright You Horny Fucks as a kind of backing track. I'm gonna give you a bit of a complaint for kind of for using it a bit too prevalently there.
I thought I mixed it low enough, but I didn't mix it low enough.
I just heard myself for your mic. Alright, it's all good now.
Yeah,
anyway,
weird.
So I think I'm gonna start off with just a critique that I think I had with one of the singles that you released, and thankfully it's not so throughout this EP as I thought it was gonna be. But it's in the final song "Opinionated" when I was talking about the whole show don't tell, and I know showing's a bit hard when you're kind of like doing a speaking here, but
all audio, yeah.
The narrator had too much kind of talking in that. This whole, he wasn't talking about like what the scene of it was in Opinionated. He was talking about this is who this person is, it's everything he's done and everything like that. To the point in which a lot of the dialogue that happened in Opinionated wasn't really necessary, which is a shame because the dialogue that you've actually created between these two characters is a lot more engaging than the narrator's ever getting.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess for me, it's just like table setting. Like, there's meaning to take from that, but the focus is on what they're saying, of course.
Like, in Still and Blissful, I think it works better for the narrator, because the narrator can actually also work as a way into the mindset of that character, and that's what it kind of does, and I think that one worked a bit better. And I liked the introduction to this as well. I thought the introduction really kind of tried to set the scene, kind of try and, like, it short, set the scene, didn't go too much long into it, didn't spoil anything about the characters, and just said, this is who it is, this is what they are, kind of have a listen. And I thought that was a pretty good introduction to it. Yeah, I feel like another complaint that I had as well is that there's not so much difference from this being a spoken word to an audiobook, which is also a shame, because I thought that you definitely had the great potential to make this into something quite different from an audiobook, to make the kind of sounds that you hear or the way that words have been spoken so important to be spoken that way that it actually makes it different from an audiobook. Like near the end of Still and Blissful, you know how I kind of compared some of that fast-paced talking to a clipping song?
Yeah.
But I liked that the way that it kind of got faster in the end, because it made it this whole kind of like he's going insane that his boyfriend won't wake up in kind of way, and the way that it's doing that is something that you couldn't really quite get just from reading text in a book.
Right.
It's that kind of the way that it becomes more frantic makes it a lot more insane. I think there is actually quite a lot of potential to make this a really good spoken word thing, and you had it there, but you didn't quite realize that you had it.
I think a lot of it is just if I had more time to like play with that stuff and get that kind of like pacing down, I would have. And also, I think I also mixed a lot of I edited a lot of them too fast paced. Because I took out a lot of pauses, and I realized I should have had some more for pacing.
I wasn't going to go too much into production because of knowing the kind of time limit that we had in this and stuff like that. And obviously there were a bit of glitchy voices in there, but I could get past them, kind of know it in the context of this.
Yeah.
I liked the dialogue that you had with your friend there, with Andrew Raymond Casey, or Raymond Andrew Casey, whatever.
Yeah.
I thought that was the most engaging part. I'd say on first impression, I kind of liked Mutuals a bit the most. I think you had a really good start to this, and you were getting there for the end, but some of the issues that you had were kind of creeping up a bit too much, and you had the potential to make some good stuff. And I think if you actually spend a lot more time on the next one that you make, and you start to use some of these things that I talk about, then you will actually make a pretty good spoken word album.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
What do you have to say, Trix?
I don't have much to say other than I really enjoyed it. But it did raise a lot more questions than answers with the characters.
Yeah.
And it's definitely a good setup for like a second EP or longer album sort of deal.
Yeah, I can see that.
Anything that you'd like to put out, assuming we've still got around 5 minutes of discussion to go here?
I mean,
It does what it says on the tin.
I was talking to Dominic, but
I know.
I would. Was it boring at all? Was it like too much at times?
I think Still and Blissful was a bit too much. I think there was a point of it like we kind of get it, and it kind of felt a bit repetitive. And same with Opinionated. So yes, but it wasn't that it was like it's because it gone on too long or because it's the same setting that's done it. It's just because what you were saying was kind of repeating a bit too much.
Okay.
Like I said, you have the foundation there, and I came into this kind of like not expecting to enjoy a spoken word EP, and I wouldn't say I've come out of here absolutely loving it or anything, but I see again a lot of the things that can make this different to an audiobook, like the ways I like that you did try to play a 22-year-old girl. That was again, pretty funny.
Yeah, that it slayed me when I first heard it.
I mean,
I like that you tried to put in some atmosphere as well into it to again, at least change it there. That's because again, coming into this, the big concern I was going to have is this just going to be an audiobook that we could just read on paper and it'd be the same thing, or is it actually going to be a proper spoken word stuff? And it's kind of in the middle.
Yeah, I would agree.
I'm proud of what you made. I would say I am proud of what you made, knowing that you spent most of the time just doing the actual writing for this. So knowing your recording and production time being quite small on that, I think what you have made is pretty good. What was the time on this? This was something like
it's about 15 minutes.
Yeah, 15 minutes. I mean, again, some people struggle to make 3 minutes of music or 3 minutes of writing or anything like that. I like that you went for, like, instead of trying to make one whole big story, you went for those kind of smaller stories in the same based on the same character and stuff like that. So instead of trying to create this whole story of Jerry and his boyfriend, which I know is still in there, you've kind of worked on creating the story of Jerry first and then his life based off that, which I think is a great way of writing it.
Especially because with an EP, there's not a lot of room to do a whole big story. So it's like, what's the point, you know?
I mean, you can, short stories can still be a thing, but like again, there it's in chapter, and again, if this is one overlapping story, then we'll just be going straight back to that audiobook as well. And this is kind of more written, is in the kind of spoken word, which I'll say I'd rather the spoken word than the audiobook. Because again, and if it's just an audiobook, I may as well just read the fucking thing. And there's actually no necessities for the sound or anything. And you've at least created some necessity for the sound, which is again what I give praise for here. I give praise for the dialogue, but I also had to give critique for some of the kind of writing being a bit too repetitive with the narrator, and a lot of the things that could have just made this better just kind of really only showing up, and it seems like it was unintentional to have it in there. Again, like with the faster part when you're talking at the end.
I mean, that was intentional, but I didn't do it enough. My question though is, do you think it needed another track? Because I cut one, so I'm just curious if you thought it needed more.
I would have to hear the track that you cut, because I think that possibly it could even just be one song gets swapped out for that. Okay. If you wanted me to also give a first impressions rating or something like this, and this is not the context of every album in total and stuff like this. It's just this from what I expected you could have done, like to that to like what you didn't. I'd say I'd probably give this a 5 out of 10.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll go with that too.
For what I expect and what you can do and everything like that, I think you've done half of this correct and around half of this wrong.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't. That's fine. I don't take offense to that or anything. That's just what it is, and I'm not going to defend things that I know are not obviously the best, but are what I could do with the time that I had.
Anyway, we've reached the 10 minutes on here, so any final thoughts, or should we move on to the next one?
Thank you for not trashing it.
Being an honest reviewer.
I mean, it could have happened either way, but thank you both. I appreciate it. And I'm going to hit stop recording.
Right, made him more dangerous. And we were outside one day at youth group, and he was just trying to push my buttons, and he was just, kind of not taking the Lord serious. And I walked over to him, and I went, bam! I punched him in the chest as hard as I crumpled the kid. I just crumpled him. And I leaned over and I said, Ben, when are you going to stop playing games with God? I led that man to the Lord right there. There's times that might be needed.
She broke my heart. She broke.
Alright. So, I'm going to start off this time and just say, Callum, your audio production is better than mine.
And mine.
So
That's what happens when you use Ableton instead of just recording into an iPhone.
So, I
Fair
mean,
enough.
well, I don't know what Ableton is, but
It's a
Good start. Yeah, it's do you know what FL Studio is?
no.
Ah,
it's a-
so
it's a
you are,
DAW,
yeah.
digital audio workstation.
I know Audacity. I know Adobe Premiere.
It's
You're
like
you're way far off.
it is like Audacity and Adobe Premiere had sex with a synthesizer.
Fun.
Created some weird threesome baby.
Okay.
But it's a fucking good baby.
Yes, it is.
So I'm gonna say, as a sound collage, this album is really excellent. It has a lot of interesting sounds, and it kind of separates them. It's not always the same sound over and over. It's kind of varied throughout, and I appreciate that. And I also appreciate that you have like the consistent cassette tape thing,
Yeah.
which takes some time to put in there, and I always appreciate that.
I'm waiting for the butt. I'm really waiting for this butt to just come out.
But I'm not racist, but
But you only have like 2 songs. That's my only
3.
thing. You have like 2.5 songs. One of them is a song that Trix basically did.
I did so much editing to let me show you a trick,
Yes, you did, and then you gave her a prize right after
which
that,
I did
which is
enough
kind of a
editing to
joke.
as well.
Which is kind of funny.
I did enough editing to that as well.
yeah, he did.
You did enough editing,
Yeah.
but it's just like I feel like does it Meet Me One Day that has the audio clip, or is it Sad
Yep.
White Boy? Well,
Meet Me One Day is the one that has the pastor beating up a kid.
I think that is by far the most interesting track, and then it sets up so much, and you go other places with the other tracks, but I feel like the uniqueness of having that clip and then having Tricks come in after that is so it's so interesting that the rest of it kind of falls by the wayside a little bit, except for the parts where it gets like really collagey.
No, I absolutely get what you're saying, because like I said, I've shared this with a couple other friends, and whilst I thought the end of the podcast was my favorite EP of the 2, it's probably just because the creation of that was my favorite, because each idea that I had kind of flowed into the next and into the next, and I guess it doesn't really show that kind of listening to it after a while here, but like I actually created each song after the other except for tuning, which was the last one I created.
And that's fun. I appreciate hearing my voice being like a good like droning sound that you can put people to sleep with.
Mhm.
And hopefully when we go into the next EP, we won't say too much there. A lot of those issues are a bit fixed, but we'll see. Because these are the first ones I did. But I understand that. Kind of looking back into it, yes, there is a bit of filler on this. I still had an idea for, like, I thought those fillers were kind of a bit of a joke, but
I mean, yeah,
I can understand the critiques in those. Don't worry.
once you explain the story of like you're quitting the podcast and you're going off on your own, it made a bit more sense. But are you quitting the podcast at the end of this EP, or are you quitting the podcast at the beginning?
So, the end of the podcast is the final song. So it's "Meet Me One Day" at the end of the podcast, which is the kind of start of this, and then the end of the podcast is like, "All right, it's over. Meet me here. We're going into something new."
Gotcha. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because I could see the, like, "Meet Me One Day" being the end, and then like you get to like Sad White Boy playing guitar in his apartment, and that's just like you're trying to make your music career take off, and there's just someone being like, "Hey, I need rent. I'm knocking your door obsessively and make you demand or give me rent."
Yeah, I actually had the idea. So the original one, and that was my original. This song will make you uncomfortable, which I really hope it did. With the amount of fucking bad sounds I put in there. But the idea was just that, like, he's so bad at playing guitar in his apartment and someone's knocking on the door telling him to shut up.
I was supposed to feel uncomfortable. Why?
I was getting uncomfortable, but just because I'm a musician and I'm like, oh god, he's playing guitar badly. Oh god.
Plus all the traffic sounds, all the fucking swans.
I didn't even hear the swans.
I guess that was like a little nerve wracking, like it's a little anxiety inducing, I suppose.
Yeah.
I don't know if I felt it quite like you hoped, but it is. That was more of what I was thinking of, like sound collage, like the Jeff Mangum thing.
Mm.
I guess I compared it to Jeff Mangum. How about that?
Yeah, I feel like you just created a cardinal sin.
Well, maybe two were meant to be after all.
Jeff, listen to my EP.
I mean, everything is certainly an EP. I'll give you that.
Mm. Anything else here that like you have a want to give a bit notice of?
Trix, do you have anything?
It'll probably be the best produced album that we've put out of all of these. Maybe your other EP will be a bit better. I don't know, but it's the best produced.
We'll wait till we get there.
I appreciate that you tried very hard to pander to me. So for some reason,
I don't know if I really tried to pander to you, but I mean, I guess the idea that we're all kind of in this makes it a bit easier and accessible for all of us.
Not just that, but
Yeah.
you have Flint Westwood in there as well.
So, because I released two singles to this. One was the "Meet Me One Day," and the other was a remix of one of the songs on here. Did you two actually listen to the remix?
I don't think I listened to the remix.
I might have. I don't remember.
Maybe later. So, I was gonna ask which one you kind of preferred because the remix was a lot more clubbier, but maybe we'll get into that next week.
I mean, I did appreciate the industrialist vibes of End of the Podcast. I said, "Is that Trent Reznor? Is that you?"
Yeah, and that made me giggle.
End of the Podcast seems to be the one that I was actually getting the most praise on.
I mean, you know what song of yours I also like, so it just makes sense.
Well, I showed it to a couple people. I think it was my friend Kellen said that he liked the kind of how more experimental but like properly produced End of the Podcast was. Some other people saying, yeah, it's the highlight from it. I've seen a lot of people also like "Meet Me One Day" at the end of the podcast. I think those two are the ones that I'm getting the most praise from, which is kind of a shame because I like to "Let Me Show You a Trick" the most, in my opinion.
I just think go on, Trix.
That one was fun, but I'm opinionated on that one because I played guitar on that track.
I just think "Meet Me One Day" and the end of the podcast by themselves are so strong, I guess. Especially "Meet Me One Day," that "Let Me Show You a Trick" just does not live up to it to me. Like, it's fine, but like the other two are just They stand out.
Well, Meet Me One Day is actually the only song that I had a proper writing for anyway that actually got on here. Because that one, I had actually like seen this joke on r/emo jerk, which talked about I was wanted to make a Midwest emo song. What quote should I use? And they gave that quote out there with the pastor beating up a kid. And I had this whole idea, so I actually went around looking for samples, looking for the right one, looking for the drum and that. Blah blah blah. I'll get a bit more in depth next week. But yeah, that one is actually probably the one that I actually.
Is it Meet Me One Day or is it Meet One Day?
Meet. So it's supposed to be Meet Me One Day.
On the YouTube, it doesn't have that.
Let's see if yeah, it's Meet Me One Day.
Okay.
That's just an error. I can fix that later.
That's fine. I just want to make sure we got it right.
Yep.
Well.
You've still got a minute to go. Any? What's your highlights? What's that? What if you could give it a rating on first impressions?
I'll go 7 out of 10.
I'm thinking like a 6 or 7, yeah.
Damn. I thought this is gotta get a 4.
It's better than mine.
Yeah, what would you say is your least favorite?
Let me show you your prize.
I'll say that one too, yeah.
Fair enough.
You don't earn a prize that quickly.
I liked our the podcast thing had that whole like was trying to do that whole talk voice kind of ending to it.
Yeah, that was fun.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, well I guess we won't get a full 10 minutes on here. Are we ready to move on to the next one?
Well,
yeah.
We can wait 10 more seconds. I appreciate you use parentheses and tuning. That's really cool.
Yeah, so we'll just quickly say that one's just supposed to be a parody of tuning songs. That will always be like this filler intro.
Right. All right. Tuning time.
Let's quickly talk about this. Tricks?
I don't know if you know.
The concepts that you had on this are incredible, but the execution that you had on this lets it down immensely.
It was horrible, I know. I don't know if you noticed, but I wrote the same song like 3 times.
Yeah, I kind of did, but I hope you noticed the comment that I left on one of those songs.
Yeah, this is what I'll propose to my girlfriend 4 years from now, when our relationship is doomed due to my business as an indie musician teaching Spanish to kids failing.
I think that was the best song off the EP, but I also feel like it just had so much that didn't work. It could have been 2 minutes and it would have been perfect. It's a great background. It's a great background tune. It absolutely is, but it's way too long for what it does. It doesn't bring anything new ever in it, and I'm just hearing pretty much the same 30 seconds for 4.5 minutes.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
You know, I didn't mind that, to be honest. It was very chill.
I liked
melancholy.
how it went.
I
liked the tune of it. I think what he was trying to... She was trying to do there was a really great concept. I think this is... if this did a lot more, it was like the kind of lead kind of guitar or ukulele or something that was happening in there, did a lot more with it, I think that would have made it worth the 4 minutes and 50 seconds that we went with it. But instead, it kind of didn't, and that's what I don't like about it. I think it's still the best track off this EP.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like it could have easily have been shorter. I played the ukulele to seem more humble as well. I think that one was actually great. I think this is actually good for what it is, because I feel like a lot of the concepts that you threw in here were great, but I also feel like you kind of just had them for too long. I know we might say that to mean with the next EP, but still, I feel like you had it, but like with Dominic, you didn't realize you had it.
Fair enough.
I mean, I think you had different ideas and you were executing them all right. Like, you got the bass, and then you got the ukulele, introducing new things, and then you got the interlude, and then you got two songs that are essentially the same thing. That's kind of where it falls apart.
It also doesn't hide that it's rushed. Now, I know you had to rush it a lot more because of work and stuff, which meant that you had a little bit less time than we did, because I was working from home, so I had lunches and stuff I could work. Dominic, you're kind of fucked with your job, so
Yeah, I'm kind of
you had more time for writing, and I know you were kind of didn't have that, so
Yeah.
I kind of understand that limitation with there as well. But it unfortunately still shows that it was rushed, which is unfortunate.
And it's totally fine. Why do you think I rebranded it as a full blown like hipster realized?
Yeah, but you know what I get to
that.
compare this to now?
What do you get to compare it to now?
My original EP, Sports Ball and Memories.
Oh my god, yeah.
But is it better?
And I mean, it's better than that by far. Don't get me wrong.
But is it better than Lauv?
Oh man, is that really the comparisons we're doing? We're gonna go to fucking Lauv and just say, look at our fucking EPs.
Yes.
This cunt got a ukulele out for 15 minutes and it's better than your pop trash.
I mean, I'd rather listen to this again than the Lauv album, so that says something.
Yeah, no, Dominic, I think I'd rather listen to your spoken word again than the Lauv album.
That sounds like a slam and a compliment. At least I didn't create the worst thing on this podcast. And neither did the tricks.
Nah.
I feel like if this is something that if you had so much more time to do, I would actually really enjoy what you put out.
Yeah, I might rework this sometime down the line. Again, that song, the one that you commented on, I've been working on since literally high school.
Damn.
Melancholic?
Yeah, the Melancholic. It was initially called Wave, and I recorded it on my ukulele.
Wow. Is there a .wave file of it?
No, I just recorded a video of it.
No. That'd be funny if it was a .wave file.
But yeah, that's, as I said, you were going to be massively disappointed in it.
I'm not actually though. I mean, I came in because you kind of talked about what it was going to sound like, and I actually expected something as trash as Sports Ball and Memories. So I am not disappointed. I'm impressed at what you've done. Just in what seems to be seems quite an improv album.
It is.
But there were parts in there that really link back to kind of the start. So you managed to kind of improv something, but you kind of realize what you're improving and remember that as you're going, which I think is quite impressive.
Yeah.
There was stuff that I like about this. Obviously, I don't know if it outweighs the negatives. I'm gonna say it safely. I'm thinking of 5 to a 6 on this because I have a lot of positives to what you've done with the concepts, but there's also some negatives of how it kind of is a bit longer than it should be. I don't mind the production. I think the actual sounds that are created here are fine. I think one of them had a bit, again, yeah, the breathing and the shit like that was a bit eh. But yeah, overall, I like what you've made. I'm proud that even though you rushed it, you went straight in, had the concept in it, and just went for it. And I appreciate it.
And you made something. That always counts for a lot.
Yeah.
This is the perfect EP to sample. Be warned.
Oh boy.
I would get this about a 5-ish, maybe a little above or below that.
Oh god, everybody be warned, girls listening to my EP now. I have now ruined another another relationship with a girl.
Oh no.
Even on this ain't romantic. This is just someone on a Discord.
But I know you.
But
talk
I'm
about,
sorry to all the females out there.
I know you compare it to my experiment, and I can kind of see that. But I guess for me, it's a question of like, this is all just kind of one take recordings that don't really have a lot behind it, and it is what it is, and that's totally fine. So it's a question of like, does technical, like, putting it together matter much? You know, that's not really what this is. You know, it's just kind of 5 songs, and they just kind of did it in one go. And
Can you upload it to BuzzFeed and say it's a trans rights?
Probably.
sure, you probably
Then
could.
go for it. Then go for it. You go, girl.
Yeah,
I'll try.
you do your thing.
Casually trying to make up for saying the wrong pronoun.
I don't want to say it's worse than mine. I feel like that'd be rude.
Oh, it's worse than yours.
Okay, it's worse than mine.
Yours had effort into it. Mine was like one go recordings, pretty much.
And I mean,
I'll keep your twos around the same because I have probably the same amount of positives and the same amount of negatives in them. We are also comparing an apple to an orange,
Yeah.
or spoken word to lo-fi guitar.
hmm
I want to just say this is also the embodiment of sad white boy playing guitar in his apartment.
It is. It is.
did you actually make this album column?
No,
One
he's
day.
not that good at guitar.
Like, did you just do Trix's homework for her?
No. So there were only 2 tracks that I played guitar on. I created some shitty bass lines that are terrible and like tuning and stuff on my guitar, but the only ones I've done it were for Sad White Boy plays guitar in his apartment, and Sad White Boy still sucks at playing guitar. For the one that Sad White Boy has gotten better, yeah, that's Tricks.
Well, that brings us to our 10-minute mark. We got there. So I'm going to stop recording unless anyone has anything else to say.
I'd not.
Alright.
I have not. I am apologizing. People are listening to my EP right now on Spotify and stuff. I apologize.
Don't apologize. It's your first experiment, your first foray. You only get better from
Not
here.
just to the women listening to it. I'm mostly apologizing to the song "Alright, You Horny Fucks" because I feel like that one I want to apologize for.
I
But
feel
we'll
somewhat
get to that.
responsible for that one.
Maybe if I'm like in the right frame of mind, this wouldn't bother me so much. So I like that you made an album. That was really cool.
Flexing on the kids.
Yeah, we sit here with our puny EPs, and you pretend it's 2 EPs, but really it's all one continuous thought. It's all an album.
And he's also got B-sides.
Oh yeah, you have a third EP, don't you?
I prefer to call this EPs because I feel like there's still differences between the two that stop the flow.
I guess
Most
artistically...
Most notably, I hope you kind of noticed was the amount of podcast usage in the first one compared to how much I used it in the second.
Very little in the second.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll let you two go on with your thoughts.
First one was better, but it was still a solid EP.
Yeah, this one tired me out a bit. I feel like there was a lot to listen to this time.
Yeah, this one dragged on like mine did.
But there's a difference, I feel like, where Tricks, it's 5 songs, so it's not that big of a deal, but this is like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 songs. It's not even really an EP at that point. It's like lengthwise it is, but come on. I think it's still like the second best album, but
Surprised that you two enjoyed the first one more.
Yeah, the first
I
one
am
was
thankful.
better.
But I am thankful.
and
I feel like I wrote better songs on the second one, but I feel like the first one flowed better.
I mean,
The highlight is definitely alright, you horny fucks.
yes. And Spatial Interlude is also very good.
Yeah, Sega music.
It's just Sega. It's a Super Monkey Ball F-Zero kind of thing.
No, that's right. Special Interlude, I've actually gotten some praise for from a couple people as well, so I'm not too surprised. I got someone who didn't like it, but understandably so.
So I think the word drag.
Yeah. Here you go.
Where it started dragging for me was Fucker. I made a tune.
Yeah.
It was just too much.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like if I gave this a bit more of a thought, maybe I'll take that out and put it on the B-sides.
Like if the parts were more different and more interesting, I could see why you might keep it, but they're not.
Yeah. Yeah, I might actually agree. I feel like after having listened to these both, the amount of times I had, I feel like the worst tune out of all of them is probably Fucker.
I also will say I don't hear too much of a difference between the white boy sucks a guitar, and then he gets better, and then he's gotten better. Like yeah, he's clearly gotten better.
The only difference on the first white boy and the second white boy was that there wasn't knocking.
Yeah. Like there's no.
Understandable. Again, yeah, I made them connected, but yeah, I guess I actually kind of see why Dominic sees this more as an album than two EPs.
Yeah, you just shot
so I
the
did
first
say
half of it. What was that?
Oh no, you go.
I was gonna say like yeah, you just chop the first half off because it's like you got a continuous thing going here with the sad white boy, and you have like because obviously the first EP is the end of the podcast, so you have more podcast usage, and then it makes sense that at the middle of the album was when you break off and start doing your music thing, and so the podcast breaks. And then...
I love the picture that Trix has posted in chat as well for the
Yes, I did say gotcha is an insult. But it's only because of what was in the songs, man. Anyway. I understand that artistically you want it to be two separate EPs. I respect that. But I just, to me it's just all one album, and it all makes it tells one continuous story, and it caps off pretty well, and I mean, do what you want, but that's my opinion.
So what did you think of the more experimental stuff in the middle there? I would say, like, the two ones are from I make experimental shit to Spatial Interlude.
I mean, for me, it was the highlight.
The experimental shit between those Spatial Interlude and Alright You Horny Fucks are the better two of that trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't really jiving as much with I make experimental shit in my room.
Yeah, I would agree. But those two though, I mean, there's a reason why I used horny fucks,
Mm-hmm.
I've unintentionally made the gay anthem for clubbing.
I did not realize that the great Tiffany Tatum was a part of the song.
That's just how gay you are.
I posted the Key and Peele sketch initially of The Office Homophobe,
Yeah.
where the intro song is just moaning over a bass line, and I'm like, something like this.
Yeah. Yeah, and I just found it. I'm not the first person to use a porn as a sample. Hilltop Hoods and Clown Prince. The story for the bassline is that the producer for that was doing some research and came across it.
Oh, so he pulled a Randy Pitchford then.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right.
Magic tricks.
Moving on.
Yeah, because we've still got some more time here, so some more.
I like that you tried to go back to the tricks thing. That was another thing you called back to.
Yeah, my guitar playing is all over this EP.
Oh, is it? I didn't even notice.
There's a couple songs about it though.
Yeah,
Like from Sad White Boy to Special Interlude, there is absolutely none of yours.
no, there isn't.
I did appreciate the Spanish feel of Fucker at certain points. That was interesting. It was a little different. I think, was that your guitar playing tricks?
That was.
Okay, so that's you, I think, for that. You made his song better.
Oh yay!
Oh, Tricks, you want to start a band?
Oh yeah, why not?
Assuming as we already have here.
I'll just be your roadie.
I'll just send you samples.
We'll be the new Avalanches.
You'll be the new
So-
Sir Rock is Dead.
Oof.
Oof.
So you both said you enjoyed this less than the first one,
Yeah.
which I guess it's a good thing to have them split up. So I guess we'll go more in depth into review and stuff like that when we actually do them next week, because there's probably some
Yeah.
questions that I have and stuff like that, but it'll just take a bit too much time.
Mhm.
So what would you probably rate this?
6.
Yeah, 6.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I kind of agree with a lot of the points I make. I think after a while, I've noticed a lot of the issues that I've done here. I mean, obviously, I started pretty much on the 7th when we all started, and worked a bit non-stop. So, I guess
You talk about giving me
guess having
praise for writing all the stuff and you having all that stuff prepared, but you kind of did the same thing. Like, you really went at it. And I really have to give you props for making all these songs and really compressing what seems like a whole album recording into 2 or 3 weeks.
we still got a bit more time before this. Anything else that either of you want to say?
Release the B-sides, damn it.
That's on Tricks. I've got them
Yeah,
on
I got-
Bandcamp.
Yeah, I gotta upload them still there. DistroKid was being wicked slow for some reason this morning. It took 30 minutes to upload 8 songs.
And
So-
yeah, B-sides is 11 songs. A lot of that is still alternate versions and stuff as well. So
Yeah, so I might queue that up on my other phone and just let it sit.
all right. Well, anything else, or should I stop the timer and just we'll get a final reflections here?
Yeah, you just have the timer. I think we're good.
Yep. So I think this was a very kind of a fun experiment that we've all done here.
Yeah.
I
Definitely.
forgot. I mean, I'll be honest. The kind of intention behind it was meet me one day at the end of the podcast, because I'm like, hey, I could create that song. I got a bit of a knowledge of how to use Audacity, but then like as the more I thought about it, it's like, how cool would this be? And I'm glad we did this, and I'm glad we all stuck with it, because this has been fun.
Yeah, I like having something to do during everything that's going on, and then having a goal
Yeah.
is good.
I think if
probably
I
end up reworking mine.
now obviously we'll do rankings and everything next week, go more in depth, do some more questions and stuff like that, and talk more about the creation. I feel like if I rank them now, Tricks, unfortunately, I'd have to put you last. Like I'm not gonna rank mine. I'm not gonna rank mine in here because that's just biasm, and I'd probably. But I feel like you two put out pretty same quality EPs. You both had flaws, but you also both had EPs full of potential, which was very great to see.
I mean, I'm
Because I feel like my EP wasn't really filled with potential. It was either good or it wasn't.
I mean, I don't have much to rank here. I mean,
It's whether or not you just think, yeah, like one's better or one's worse, or even if I mean, again, I think your twos are the same, but you don't have to rank.
like I said, I think your 2 EPs were the best of the night, just from production, for variety, for amount of stuff.
Yeah.
That necessarily makes Tricks his last, and that's not even like a diss or anything. It's just like there's a difference, you know.
Yeah.
And I feel like Trix has probably got the same view there.
Yeah, I do.
It's just okay. Yeah, Columns is all up there, and I'm next to it. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I'm glad that I'm getting as well that like I'm getting some praise on these songs. Is like legitimate praise. It's not, oh, this song could be better if you did this, or like this part. I like that some of the songs that I got seem to get a good reaction from you two, specifically the end of the podcast ones.
Mm-hmm.
I like that I could find stuff to enjoy out of you twos as well, and I wasn't legitimately going. It wasn't like I was trying to cherry pick and be nice. There was stuff in there that I genuinely liked, which is very nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I liked. I don't know. I liked how we all did kind of different things. We had different approaches, and we let it kind of.
Because obviously, in the end, this wasn't a contest or anything. There wasn't like, oh, one of us wins or anything, and that made it better because then we were all a bit more happy to collaborate as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we had an agreement. Just we're using each other's stuff if we need to. Like.
Yep, and this is all just for the fun and seeing what we can do, and it's good because I feel like there's a lot of people out there that do this stuff with. You have to make it a contest. And I can be quite competitive, I know, so I'm glad that I didn't have that kind of mentality. It was like, alright, we're not going here to make things better than what these two are making, we're just here to make something that's just what I can make. And I'm just happy. That's what we did, so... I don't think this is going to be very too often of a thing, because that kind of ruins the magic, but I hope this is something that we do again sometime.
Yeah, I'd love to do it again.
Yeah. Well, I'll do it again, too.
I mean, I think for me, it was never about, doing the best. Like, yeah, I would like to do something cool, but I'm someone who is kind of a perfectionist sometimes. I really worry about the details, and so this was like an opportunity to just be like, you know what, I have like 3 weeks. I'm just gonna do what I can and see what happens, and I'm not gonna worry about.
I feel like next time that we do it, we might like better plan it out. So like we say, all right, we have this whole month. I wouldn't want to do it more than that, because I think the fun of this as well is that it has to be in a certain time limit.
Right.
Because if we say gave like a whole year, some people would be done. I would probably be done in 2 months, and then you as a perfectionist might take the whole year or tricks in there, and then we're not really sharing anything or anything like that, or kind of talking about it. But when we do it in that more compressed month, that we're all kind of in the same period, and it's a bit easier to talk about creation because we're all kind of doing it at the same time.
And so that was it's a good way to just let me let go and just be like, you know what, I could record this whole thing or re-record it, but I don't have the time realistically, so I'm just gonna see how it does as it is.
I know. I think we'll probably go a bit more into this next week. We'll go full in depth of pretty much the whole creation of all of our EPs. We'll kind of talk more in depth about the specific parts of songs that we like. So this is kind of just a quick reflection, quick minisode for us. Yeah, I think this would be great. My name is Riddleland. You can catch me at Riddleland for Kids at GitHub.io. I also have a YouTube channel, be linked in the description below.
I'm Dominic. You can catch me at DACICHOCKI on Twitter. I write stuff for tiltingthemillstudios.com, and you can go check out all of our EPs online. They are things that you can buy if you want to. Mine's on Bandcamp for $2.99. I feel like that's a fair price.
Mine's free. I don't want to. If you buy this on Google Play, you're an idiot. Just download it for free.
I'll give you the file too if you want. I didn't realize you can make things on Bandcamp for free, so I didn't.
I'm not making a Bandcamp.
You can edit. I'm pretty sure you can edit it to make it for free as well. So
I could probably do that too if I really want to. We'll see.
Too lazy to log into Bandcamp.
You know what? If I get $10 for the amount of work I put into it, I'd be happy with that.
Yeah, fair enough.
You're also gonna get Spotify royalties and stuff. I'm gonna have to. Once I end up getting those, I'm gonna have to send them your way.
Yeah, 30 cents.
Yeah.
If that.
I can buy a gumball.
Well, after conversion rates, it's only gonna be like 17, or it's gonna be like 45 Australian cents.
Oh, I can buy 2.
We'll just simplify all of our own EPs.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, and then the tricks, I think it's just you.
Yeah, I've been Tricks. You can catch me at Procrastinating Astronaut on Twitter, at procrastronaut_. And I have a YouTube channel where I do bass stuff occasionally. And check out our website and our Twitter at Dissonant Waves and dissonantwaves.space.
On that note, you should probably treat all of our EPs when they come out on
Yep.
Spotify.
Yay.
I will do that.
We're all technically published musicians slash spoken word artists, I guess. How about that?
Anyway, that has been us for the week. We'll catch you next time when we go a bit more in depth.